Hey friend, welcome to Healthy with Heather Brown. If you don't know where to start with balancing being healthy and loving the life you already have, I got you, friend. And yes, of course, we're still going to enjoy some Chick-fil-A. I'm here to come alongside you and encourage you to fall more in love with your creator, your spouse, your kids, and your own health journey. We'll talk about how to let your good things grow until they become daily habits, with the occasional dad joke and point of view from my Yankee hubby, Eric. Don't stress. Let's hop on this Hot Mess Express together. So join me, Heather Brown, as we unpack what it looks like to live a life well loved. Woo, mama. It has been a minute since it was just me on the show. And I wanted to come to you guys today because I want to talk with y'all about summer. Holy freaking smokes. These schools. And these kids, I mean, what do they do to us from like spring break till the end of the school year? It really does feel like you don't have barely 1 week that's normal. It's like every week there's something like a program or like you're out of school for this thing or that thing. And then you have a half day of school and then there's a teacher work day and then you got parent teacher conferences. And then at the preschool, I mean, it's all kinds of like ice cream day and bring this. I mean, it is truly mind-boggling. Not to mention you got to get your teacher gifts and all the things, which by the way, if you listen to this episode, I do have a great teacher gift guide that I have run through some of my teacher friends and some of the boys' friends and added to it with unique ideas to help you guys support small businesses and or other women-owned businesses. And also then for my last minute mamas, of course, I've got some Amazon options on there. So regardless, I will link the teacher gift guide in the show notes if you need some help with that. But I just want to talk with y'all about how we're going into summer and what it's going to look like from just a health perspective for your mindset, for your relationship with your kids, and just what are your health habits going to look like mentally, like we've talked about so much this season, physically, spiritually. And we really want to go into the summer naming our intentions and truly thinking about it so that the summer doesn't just run us the way that probably the last few weeks of school have run us. Am I right? Am I right? Okay, so with all that said, I'd love for you to go over to Instagram and connect with me over at My Life Well Loved or at Healthy with Heather Brown. Tell me your summer plans. Maybe after this episode are some takeaways that you want to feel at the end of the summer and how are you going to write those down and tangibly make them happen. I would love, love, love to hear y'all's goals from that frame of reference. Okay, so with all that said, today's episode is actually the finale of season 2 as well. So to say thank you, I wanted to offer you guys 50% off site-wide on all my meal planning ebooks, my business course, all the things over there that I have created for you guys is just a way to say thank you so much for supporting the first season, mostly about physical health, and the second season of Healthy with Heather Brown, mostly about mental health. And I will talk more about all of this later in the episode. But if you just can't wait, you can go to mylifewellloved.com/ebook and utilize the discount code podcast for 50% off over the summer. So excited to offer that to you guys as a thank you. Because without you guys, I mean, this wouldn't be here. I would not be able to keep showing up and doing this. So thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing with your friends. Thank you for following, leaving ratings and reviews, all the things. Now, disclaimer, if you're listening to this in real time in May 2023, we are headed into summer break and also taking a break from putting out new episodes. However, over the summer, you will get to hear reruns of the most popular episodes from the last 2 seasons because this mama ain't got time to be recording full-fledged new episodes with guests and Eric with the kiddos out of school and traveling. We're planning to go to Tampa and just do several different things. So I know y'all understand that. But what I do want to make a priority is making sure that if you did miss any of those popular episodes, that you get the opportunity to have them show up on your phone as a reminder. And then I'll also give y'all little tidbits of encouragement that I will record, at that time to make it, timely for you during your summer. And then make sure you stay tuned to the end of the episode to hear, drum roll please, the official season 3 launch date and what the big topic is that we will be covering. One other thing I do want to mention is over this summer break, I will also pop in some with some mini episodes, and I'm talking about 15 minutes or less. so that I can stay connected with you, checking on your health goals while the kids are running you around, and then just share what we're up to as well. I feel like as a mom myself, I identify with you guys so much and how, the summer just doesn't have much routine, if you will. It has a lot of things that force us here and there and VBS one week and then tennis camp the next. And then we're at the beach and, you just like, there is hardly any consistency. So I know you guys won't have a ton of time to listen to full episodes was my thought in doing this. So those mini episodes will definitely be 15 minutes or less just to meet you where you're at because mama, friend, I'm there with you, faux show. So let's dive in to the meat of this episode, which is the Brown family philosophy on summer. And what I really want to do is to help you hopefully find your family philosophy on the summertime. And so I'm going to talk with you a little bit about ours. I definitely love to come up with a summer bucket list. We did this last year and I actually created a free printable. I'll talk with you guys about that later in the show and give you the link and all the things. But we try to do new experiences. We have a summer bucket list. We definitely join our Alabama Splash Adventure water park and we try to get to that at least 2 to 3, sometimes 4 times out of the summer. We like to go to Tampa and visit Eric's family. That's a priority for us. I think y'all have heard me say Eric is a triplet. So he has a brother in DC and his sister and parents are in Tampa. And so we'll try to all meet up down there and get all together as much as we can. And then we also just like to find time to relax. We are huge pool, lake, beach people. So I've talked with y'all in other episodes and I can link to those as well, where we kind of talk about boundaries and what's helpful for Eric's personality versus mine and how we merge and literally marry those to make sure that I'm not overbooking us, but also that we are getting to, take the opportunity to be outside as a family. I have talked so much about the mind and body connection and just the health benefits that are proven when you're outside, you're getting vitamin D. Some of the best advice I actually got early on in our marriage is that if you feel like you have almost this like block where you can't get conversation going, to go on a walk with your spouse or with your family and how that kind of naturally helps conversation flow. So with all that said, that's kind of how we go into the summer. I am a night owl. And so I get very excited about the weeks where we don't have too much planned and I do get to sleep in some. That is definitely a highlight for me, is thinking about ways to catch up on true sleep and rest during this season. So that's kind of how we do it, friends. And y'all see me on Instagram. I usually share my stories where we are and what we're up to. So y'all can keep up with us all summer long, where we're traveling to, what concerts we're seeing, what we're doing, when our date nights are. But what I really want to talk about is you and what you're going to do to figure out your family philosophy on summertime. Number 1 tip, start writing them down if you're a note taker. Number 1 tip is, and you already know I'm going to say this, but communicate, sister. I feel like no matter what speak on, no matter what ebook I write, no matter what course I'm creating, communication is always going to be a key component of what I am talking about. And maybe that's because I'm a talker, but also I think that there's a lot of value that can be found in understanding where your spouse is coming from, being on the same team, being aware of what each other are doing, what your plans are, how you're thinking, how you're feeling, how your kids are feeling, and really getting on the same page so that you do feel like you're going into the summer as a united front, as a team, versus being like, well, I assume we're doing this and I hope we're doing that. And, really just taking the time to get out those calendars, just like we talk about with your meal planning, and, set everything up so you can see how the weeks and the months are going to play out, where you have holes, where you want to add things in, figuring out your budget to make all those things happen. So whether that means syncing your calendars or going on a date with your hubby to talk about the summer, I highly recommend just honestly sharing what's important to everyone in your family, and then just being able to say hello to a fun summer and goodbye to those unmet expectations. I always talk about the quote, and I will probably always talk about the quote that says that stress is the gap between expectation and reality. I think that's what it is. And so the more that you and your hubby can get on the same page about the expectations going into the summer, the better. You know, one of the most popular questions I hear is, how do you do it all? Or, can I pick your brain? And I always laugh because my knee-jerk reaction is, oh girl, I don't do it all. And now I have a way to let you pick my brain about my business. I have an incredible team of women helping me manage my crazy behind the scenes and keeping my life well loved and this podcast running smoothly. Because Lord knows I'd be a hot mess express trying to do it all myself. This year, I launched a course where I finally do a deep dive and share all the raw details about how I built my business and team to where it is today. My COO, Alyssa, and I recorded over 2 hours of video into 9 lessons to create a course that reviewers are saying is unlike anything else out there. Hey, their words, not mine. But hold on, the videos aren't all. I'm going to read you my list of what it includes so I don't forget any of it. There's a 28-page workbook with questions to move you from stuck as a solopreneur to thriving as a team, or even just hiring your first assistant, with smart goals and steps to guide you from point A to point B efficiently. A behind-the-scenes look at our application, hiring process, and critical onboarding process, my cannot-miss first step in hiring a new employee, and how to cultivate a team buy-in. There's a deep dive on my team's inner workings, our operating systems, favorite apps, and index full of time-saving tools we use to keep our team running smoothly. If you're ready to take your business, side hustle, or network marketing lifestyle to the next level and grow a team, I'm your girl. Head to www.mylifewellloved.com/team to grab yours today. Number 2 for my note takers. I'm like, this is a classic, like Baptist preacher going through a sermon thing to say, number two, coming up to number 2. Like, get your pens ready, friends. Create consistency in inconsistent times. And you're like, okay, what do you mean, Heather? Okay, this does not mean just because you're going to be going to VBS on week 1, and then you're taking your kids to your parents on week 2, and then you're going to the beach on week 3, and then you've got like a golf camp on week 4. I'm like, can you tell what is on my brain that we're working through the summer? It does not mean that you're saying goodbye to the healthy habits you can keep. So this is where we're really naming what can we keep that are healthy routines and habits. That doesn't mean you're giving up your Sunday reset. Y'all know I've talked about the Sunday reset a million times. I will link the Sunday reset resources in my podcast bio. If you're not doing a Sunday reset or whatever day you name it, it doesn't have to be Sunday. It can be any day of the week that works best for you to get everybody on the same page. You've got to keep the things that help you feel sane. Summer will absolutely run you ragged because almost no 2 weeks of the summer are the same if you don't put it into play. My friends, even that, work full time and traditional 8 to 5 jobs, they feel the same way because they're going to this camp one week and taking their kids to the next camp the next week and figuring out the childcare and who's driving who, where, when, what, like, are you picking up from basketball camp on Monday, Tuesday? And I'm dropping off on Thursday, Friday. How is that working? Oh, this kid gets out at noon that day from this camp, but this camp doesn't get out at 4. Y'all know how it is. It's nuts. So you have got to create consistency where you can so that you do not lose your ever loving marbles. And for some of you, that might mean that you literally have a thankfulness journal. Y'all know I've talked about the Happiness Project 1-sentence journal for moms, and you're writing in it every night because it forces you to sit down and write something you're grateful for and get your mindset there. For some of you, that is going to mean movement. We will get further into that, but my Pure Barre clients used to always say to me when they would come to Pure Barre and, like, let's say that they were about to go on a vacation or something, they'd say, well, what am I going to do? They don't have a Pure Barre in Italy. And so what am I going to do? I'm going to be all out of whack. And I'd say, just do what you can do. So if you're going to Italy and you don't do a bar class 5 days a week, okay, what does Italy allow for? Tons of walking and taking in these beautiful views. So still get in your 30 minutes of walking and taking up the views and taking in the views and getting that heart rate up. There will be opportunities to present themselves to enjoy where you are when you're traveling, but also move your body in a way that's meaningful. And so I just want to really, really encourage you to create that consistency in inconsistent times. The next question I have for you on this point is just, how do you view curveballs in life? Summer can feel like one long curveball. So take a look at what tools you have in your tool belt to embrace the time. How can you invest in your current self and your future self? I'll dive into this more when we get to talking about mama self-care this summer. So stay tuned for that next part of the podcast. Okay, then number 3 is to budget and plan. So we'll deep dive into finances and more in season 3 as it pertains to relationships, which I'll talk all about that at the end of this episode, so don't miss it. But I cannot stress enough how important it is to plan ahead for big expenses like trips. Eric and I are huge believers in the Hilton Honors program. He used to travel for work all the time, so we save up points, and a lot of times that's how we travel for free. We do have a Hilton credit card, and we, of course, pay it off on time. We are not, letting it roll over. We are trying to be wise with our credit, with our money, and also with those points. We also have a Southwest card where we collect points, and we also pay off that credit card on time. Like always pay it off in full each month. And then if for any reason you get to the point where that can't happen anymore, then like the credit card's got to go away. You've got to go back to that like really strict system to keep yourself in budget. I know saving money is a huge topic that people are talking about right now because we just don't know what the economy is going to do, much like how Eric and I talked about in that 2023 predictions episode, which we can also link back to if you want to hear our predictions and if they're coming true so far or not. Okay, so then next up would be, our favorite way to get a grip and control is our grocery budget. You have a lot of fixed expenses like your mortgage, your car payment, your power bill, your water bill, you name it. Like that's a lot of things you can't control. But what you can control, your grocery budget. Now, of course, you know that one thing that I'm going to tell you that I think that you should do to help you save money is to grab my meal planning ebook or my meal planning ebook bundle. It is a comprehensive guide of over 140 pages of printables, recipes, best practices. There's an entire section on how to save money, a chapter on how to get your picky kids to eat. There's also 15 printables to master meal planning like a queen, the queen that you are. And the number one thing you're doing wrong when you're prepping or planning your meals, and everything you need to save money, eat healthy, and save time. So like I said, I am very excited to offer you guys over the summer 50% only for my podcast listeners on all my resources. So if you go to mylifewellloved.com/ebook and use the discount code podcast, that will give you 50% off. And y'all, I can't even tell you how valuable these meal planning ebooks are. Like, I wish that I would have had them before I had kids because I share with you guys tips we've learned from a dietitian from when Leighton fell off the growth chart because he wasn't eating enough. We were really struggling with sensory issues. So I share all the tips we learned from a dietitian. I share breakfast ideas for your kids that you can use this summer and obviously into the school year too. Printable recipe cards. I talk about my Pick 4 lunch hack that I use with the kid-friendly printable that I have in there and how that really helps to encourage and empower your kids to make healthy decisions when eating. So you're not only feeding them and empowering them to be more independent, but you're giving them the tools that they need in their tool belt. So when they're older, they will know how to make healthy decisions. This Pick 4 lunch hack is just huge for us and the hundreds of families that have gotten this meal planning ebook and utilized it. I have 30 plus super snack ideas in there. I have encouraging Bible verse lunchbox notes you can cut out and put in your kids' lunchbox when you send them to camp or whatever. And then I also have multiple dinner ideas, printable recipe cards for that, my sample meal plan that I use for our family, and then printable activity sheets for your kids. You name it. I'm talking with you about, I tell you all the down and dirty of how I don't spend more than 15 minutes planning my meals. And then I'm saving money, I'm saving time at the grocery store, and I'm saving my waistline. I'm eating healthier. And I just can't tell you enough how much the healthy swaps list in there, my step-by-step strategies, just all the pantry staples, your food inventory printable, the way that I help you determine your health goals. Like it truly is like, I am just like taking you by the hand and just really trying to walk you through a sustainable, healthy lifestyle. And when I talk about meal planning, I do not mean meal prepping. People think like, I'm not cooking 15 pounds of chicken and eating it 40 ways till Sunday. That's not what we're talking about. Your meal plan can literally be on Tuesday night, we're having Chick-fil-A because I know we've got swim lessons and it's going to be crazy. Like writing that in and budgeting for it makes a difference, friends. And it also allows you to start thinking about, what am I going to eat at Chick-fil-A? Am I going to make a healthy choice? More than likely, if you predetermine what you're going to eat at Chick-fil-A, then you're going to eat healthier. There's just lots and lots of little tips and tricks I give to you guys in this meal planning ebook resource. So again, you can go to loved.com/ebook. Use the discount code podcast for 50% off. So if you want to save even more money, I do sell my meal planning ebook for kids and for adults in a bundle where it's already on sale. And then with the 50% off, I feel like that is just like such a great value. And then of course you can also use it on it's called the Team Building for Solopreneur Mamas. If you have a side hustle, like you sell Modere liquid collagen like me, or essential oils, or you're a painter, or you have an Etsy shop, you have a clothing boutique, you want to learn how to make money, you want to be a blogger, you're a photographer, you want to take your solopreneur business to the next level, I literally walk you through a video course explaining everything that I do, how I monetize it, how I build a team, what that looks like, the tools and tricks that we use. It's really worth thousands of dollars. Like I would have paid thousands of dollars for that course when I was in the beginning days of my blogging career. So all that to say, I want you to pay attention to what your family already enjoys doing and riff off of that this summer. Don't try to do something just because everyone else does it. You have to do what works for your family. I do have that summer bucket list that I talked about earlier. I'm linking in the show notes. It's really cute. I know I'm tooting my own horn here, but I'm like, it's not really my horn. It's the girl that I hired to do the graphics for it. It is so cute. It's like, go to the zoo, go to the water park, have a water balloon fight, make s'mores. I think there's like 18 ideas on here, and your kids can check it off, and it has really cute little pictures on it and giraffes and bears and slides. And I mean, we love putting it up on our refrigerator and checking it off as we go during the summer. It's just a really cool way to involve your kids in the planning and get them excited. So I really, really love that. And on that note, you know I was going to bring it up. Here comes mama self-care. So in what ways do your routines shift in the summer? How can you make sure you're still filling your cup in the midst of travel, pool time, kids out of school, camps, VBS, and all the normal summer fun things that can tend to derail us as mamas from our normal healthy habits? Number one, protein. You know, I preach protein from the rooftops. I will link my protein cheat sheet also in the show notes. I want you to have that tool in your tool belt. I want you guys to be eating 30 to 40 grams of protein per meal and getting 100 grams of protein per day. You've got to figure out your protein powder, how you're going to get in quick protein on the go. And that protein cheat sheet I'm linking in the show notes will help you do that. I have the Paleo Valley beef sticks that I love. I've got my Active Stacks protein powder. And if I have discount codes for those, I'll link them in the show notes as well. But a lot of these things you can buy on Amazon. Y'all know I love my Built bars, my One protein bars. And y'all know I love either getting my Oikos yogurt or my Too Good yogurt and adding a scoop of protein powder. That is so much protein right there. And that's what's going to keep you satiated and full and help you regulate your hormones. So many good things. Obviously, drink your water, especially if it's hot like in Birmingham. I want you guys to be aware that if you're just drinking water, more than likely your body is still not able to fully hydrate. I know this sounds crazy, but you need to be getting at least half your body weight in ounces in water a day and getting in salt and or your Revitalize that I talk about all the time. You've got to have something in your body that is helping you be fully satisfied with your water intake. I have followed Dr. I think you pronounce his name DeNicolai. If you follow him on Instagram, it's Dr. James, I think, DeNicolai. I can also link his book on Amazon. It's called The Salt Fix. And I have been blown away. Apparently, Redmond salt is one that he recommends that's the best price for the high quality salt that you need. Y'all heard me and Eric talk again in that episode about 2023 predictions about how there are studies that are showing what people used to intake of their sugar per year is 25x now what it was back in the 1950s. And our, systems and the big marketing machines try to tell us that salt is the problem, but it's actually the sugar that we're intaking all the time. And we truly need more salt. It has just truly blown my mind how much I've learned about salt and hydration the past year. And y'all know I'm always preaching about my water bottle. So yeah, I just love learning new facts like that. Next thing is I want you to move your body. Of course, so many great ways to do that in warm weather. You can bike with your kids. You can walk outside. You can go to the playground. I mean, all the things. So move your body. We've talked about that the entire past 2 seasons. So I don't feel like I need to go too deep into that. You know, I have plenty of resources on my website or in past episodes you can listen to about that. I do want to remind you that Danielle Davis that we had on the podcast last season, who is one of the owners of Pure Barre here in Birmingham. If you are a Birmingham local gal, then head over to Pure Barre in Homewood and mention that you listened to the podcast, and they will give you a free week of Pure Barre. So take advantage of that this summer while you can. And then if you can't do that because you need childcare, like me, especially during the summer, Burn Boot Camp does offer free childcare if you want to sign up for the summer as a way to still move your body. Hi, friend. Are you enjoying this episode? Hit that plus sign in the top right of your Apple Podcast app or the follow button in your Spotify app or wherever you're listening. That way you automatically get each new episode without having to search for it. You're welcome. Next up, fill your mind with good things, maybe a book or more episodes of this podcast. I really want you thinking about your mind, your body, your spirit. How are you going to nourish it and keep the good things that you can, even when your schedule's in chaos? It matters what we focus our minds on and how that connects to every part of our life and experience. As Christians, we're called to love God with our hearts, our minds, our soul, all of our strength, all facets of being a human. I love how Philippians 4:8-9 says, finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think on these things. What you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, practice these things, and the God of peace will be with you. What a cool reminder. So definitely just make sure when your kids are out this summer, think about what you're putting in your mind. Are you putting things in they're going to help you focus on them and meet them with the same tender, loving kindness that God meets you with as his child? Or are you going to feel like you're constantly picking up your phone to check Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is? Do you need to delete those apps off your phone during the week and get them on the weekends? Like, what does your balance look like? Let's think about how you're going to protect that peace and how you're going to honor God in the way that you are shepherding your kids this summer. Next up, take care of your soul by listening to music or connecting with good friends and spending time with the Lord. That's up to you to write down, again, what you want out of the summer and then find ways to tangibly make that happen. Obviously, these things are true year round, but I know I need a reminder when going into the summer months, and I bet you probably do too, friend. So I want you to have one more tangible takeaway or tip, and that is just to involve quiet time for everyone, at least a few times a week. I know we can't make it happen every day, especially depending on camp schedules and what's going on with sports and what have you. But a nap during the day for your kids and or for you is vital. Nap time obviously doesn't look like what it did when I had little babies and they were sleeping multiple times of the day. But I am working on having at least an hour each day where everybody has quiet time. Now for Finn, that quiet time right now, he's 4. Looks like he is playing Legos. He is playing with his cars. He's playing with Magnetiles. He might be coloring in his room. Sometimes he is reading his books, aka flipping through looking at pictures. I also have some activity workbooks back there for him and Leighton. And he, of course, sometimes, I know to expect his age and his limits and what he can do. He'll sometimes come out and ask me questions. Can I be done with nap? And I'll say, no, buddy, nap time isn't over yet. The alarm hasn't gone off, but I'll let you know when it has. I want you to go back to your room and be quiet. Make sure you shut the door, please, buddy. Thank you so much. And then for Leighton, he does have books that he reads. And honestly, Leighton is running so hard at some of these camps and sports activities that he actually sometimes now will fall asleep once a week or once every 2 weeks. And I am shocked by that. But their little systems need that opportunity to rest. And so we want to grant them that. And not only that, but we need time for us to do our quiet time, to read, take a few minutes to just be quiet, to get outside and walk. I walk up and down my street in front of our house while they're napping sometimes, listen to podcasts or on work phone calls or whatever it looks like, just figuring out a way to still get that quiet time and, training your kids that they have to learn how to not be stressed all day and going. And that's something that with my personality type, I really struggle with. And so I'm very excited to be able to help hopefully put this tool in my kids' tool belts, even though they don't love it right now. Hopefully one day they will appreciate it. Okay, so switching gears as we wrap up, I want to just say thank you from the bottom of my heart as we wrap up this second season of Healthy with Heather Brown podcast. You make it possible as my sweet friends, mamas, listeners, and give me a reason to keep doing it. And you just mean so much to me. When I read your DMs, so many times I get tears in my eyes because just the encouragement that you give to me for encouraging y'all is, y'all just show me the body of Christ, honestly, on a weekly basis. And I'm incredibly grateful for that. I do just want to remind you one more time that as part of that thank you, I am giving you guys 50% off everything with the code podcast at mylifewelllove.com/ebook. Again, that'll be linked in the show notes as well. If you will, do me a huge favor and leave a review of the podcast and let me know your favorite episode so far so that I can keep bringing you more of what you want to see and more guests like what you guys are liking. And if you don't tell me, I don't know. It's like what your husband tells you when y'all are like in a fight. He's like, I didn't know you were mad that I didn't do blah, 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 blah. So you got to communicate. You got to tell me what you like so I can make more of it. And then make sure to hit the follow button so you can get the mini episodes that I release all throughout the summer that are shorter, 15 minutes or under, and some of our greatest hits you may have missed. And then last up, drum roll, please. Mark your calendar. Season 3 will be coming out July 25th, 2023. So right before you get ready to head back to school, I want to be in your ear, giving you some heart encouragement. I know I am always very teary around that time of year as my kids' birthdays are both in August. They both go back to school and I'm having my mama meltdown about how time is going by so fast and my babies are growing up and all the things. But in season 3, we'll be digging into all areas of relationship health, including with God. We'll dive into the top 3 reasons for divorce and marriage trouble with Eric and expert guests. And of course, y'all know we're finally going to get to Eric's request of sexual health. Oh my gosh, he's going to be like over the moon, y'all. After we had that Lindsay Mastis episode we did this season, which you can go back and find it or I'll link it in the show notes. He was just like, yes, this is going to be so good. Sexual health season next season. I was like, well, we're not quite going to do the entire season on sexual health, but I will give you relationship health and a few more episodes that involve more about sex. You're welcome, babe. You're welcome. So also in that relationship health season, we'll be talking about disciplining and nurturing your kids, protecting them from the scary cyber world that is out there. This is the time, Mama Bears, to stand up and protect your kids. If we don't do it now, then we're going to get bowled over and the world is not going to let up. We are told that Satan is here on earth as a lion looking to seek, kill, and destroy. And so we have to stand up and not allow our devices, our kids' friends, anyone out there get into our kids' minds. Like we are in charge of being their gatekeepers. And so I really want to explore that more in depth next season. I've heard from so many of y'all that you don't have a close circle of friends. So I decided to help you find your mom tribe with season 3. So we're going to really try to lean into that. And if you have ideas on that, I'd love to hear them. I'm still brainstorming that, to be quite honest with you. And finally, we'll look at your relationship with yourself, building confidence, because I do feel like that is something that I hear a lot from you guys as well, is that you don't really know how to lean into self-confidence and who the Lord has called you to be as an image bearer of God. So stay tuned for a trailer and more info to come soon. Hags. Does anybody else remember that when you used to write in your yearbook, Hags for have a great summer? No, I'm just the only one. Okay, cool. All right. Well, with all that said, happy summer. Hang in there, mama. I know that these weeks right here are hard. You can do hard things though. I love you so very much. And God loves you more than I do. And you go love those babies, love your hubby, do something right now to mark out time in the calendar to figure out what you're doing this summer and how you're going to do it well and intentionally. All right. Go leave me a rating and review. Tell me what you want to see next season. Leave me all the ideas. Love y'all. Mwah. Thanks again for a great season. Hey, if you're loving the show, click that follow button on your podcast app. This will ensure you won't miss a single episode. I'll see you next time.